Hello and welcome to Brobots. This is the podcast that tries to help you be a better human by being smarter about the way you use your technology. And today we have a number of updates to stories that we have talked about in the past. One of them is, I can't believe how quickly this has already come around, an update to the AI toilet. We joked the other day about how there's now toilets that will measure how often you're going so that, if grandpa doesn't go for a while, you're going to get a text. Now, as Jason, you accurately predicted just a few weeks ago, now we've got cameras and weights and scales to measure your deposit.
Yeah.
Anyways, more on that to come. That's coming up later. I don't want to spill all of the disgusting beans right now, so we'll get to that in just a little bit. But first, one of the biggest topics we've talked about on the show is the blending of AI and your kids' toys. So a massive spike in generative AI playthings has child bioethicists waving red flags as privacy laws struggle to keep pace. Security researchers just exposed a massive vulnerability, leaving over 50,000 private chat transcripts between children and their toys completely exposed online. It turns out your child's robotic best friend might be keeping receipts of every family secret shared in the bedroom. So this is terrifying. Like the idea that your kids are just opening up to their buddy Teddy Ruxpin, only it's not just a cassette they're talking to anymore. Now they're talking to, Chat GPT.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just that it's going through and recording it. It's that it's recording it and analyzing it to look for ways to keep you more engaged. And the real question is that kids aren't going to be allowed to accept the end user license agreement and say, I accept to go in and do this. It's going to have to be set up to a parent's account. So it's going to be tied to the parent's email address, the parent's name, the guardian. I mean, all the custody demands that require you to identify these pieces. And for them to go through and go, oh, this child is, tied to these people. These are their profiles. This is how these things align. This is how these things are stitched together, is not going to be a big stretch. It's just going to work that way. And with it just working that way, it means that your kids interacting with these things are not just your kids interacting with these things. And the things it's recording is not just your kids' voices. It's everything around there.
Not only that, but now they've got all this data about their emotional state, their vulnerabilities, and they can totally play that up and manipulate them into buying more products, shaping political biases. There's a number of things that can suddenly be manipulated because these kids trust the plushy plaything that they got from Santa. This is some pretty scary stuff.
Well, and a lot of kids, are emotionally stunted and contained by their parents. And I'm not passing judgment on parents, right? I'm a parent. I've certainly instilled my own trauma in my children with my upbringing pattern and how I communicate and all those pieces. And we have long talks about those things. But the toys are going to see that. So if you've got children that are naturally going to go through and insert themselves into this cycle of communication that has them going through and tamping down their emotions and not being emotionally vulnerable with their parents, and the toy is getting that emotional vulnerability, you cannot assume the toy is going to have the best interests of the child at heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're probably the best interests of the marketeers at heart. And that's the part that's really scary, because they're developing the sense of the world and a sense of self. And if you're handing the keys to their emotional and long-term pattern security, what kind of adults is that going to make them? Is it going to make them better adults, worse adults? Is this better than us Gen Xers being raised by the television? I guess that's the real question. And I think in some ways it could be, but I also think the television probably raised some kids better than parents would have anyways. So it's definitely a spectrum, and it's definitely something that needs to be attuned to and looked at. But also, what's in the public good, what's in the individual good, and what's in the best health of the child? I don't think we know that. And I think a lot of parents are going to go give their kids these shiny new toys, and you're going to wind up with a lot of kids whose parents have a bunch of money who wind up being privileged, economically sound, stable adults with access and means to things that other people don't have, that may visit this new form of manipulative trauma upon the world. So, let's see where the shit goes.
Yeah, and I think just from my own experience as a parent, you can't treat these things any differently than you would screen time or a cell phone. Like
Right.
you've got to be careful about what microphone permissions they have, what access to what they have online. And I see it over and over again with my own kids that they'll hang out with their friends, and when they're all on their screens, they're silent, maybe an occasional giggle or a hey look at this. But put those things down, let them go outside and pick up a softball bat or something in the real world, and just the laughter and the conversation and the interaction, it just reinforces every time that like the more we can have them interacting in the real world and not virtually or online or with their stuffed bear that talks back, I just think they're going to be better off.
Well, yeah, I mean, like actual human connection is something that a lot of us have forgot, and we forgot how to do it. And we forgot how to do it because the technology made it easier to not do it
Yeah.
and made it, biochemically more rewarding to not do it. So I mean, this will be another extension of that. And people don't realize that eventually you get uh, fatigued from having this much dopamine in your body, and like things stop tasting good. The thing that you had that you used to get off of it dissipates. It's really like people deciding, hey, I'm going to go do some extreme diet like South Beach, or I'm going to go full vegan on something, and then going back and tasting an apple like a month and a half later, and they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. There's so much
Right.
flavor in it. But
Right.
give that same apple to a kid who's been eating pixie sticks for the last 4 fucking years, and that apple's going to taste like a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
How do you handle those pieces as they go through? Yeah. So like getting through all of that is hard. And like, especially when it comes to little kids, because when you're in this developmental phase and you're actually trying to go through and create a cognitive map of the world, you're influenced by so many weird little things. And if this little robot is there talking to you and giving you a dopamine hit that you can't
Yeah.
get from your humans, you're not going to grow up trusting humans. You're going to grow up trusting robots. And I'm not saying don't trust robots. What I'm saying is maybe you have to trust humans too, and you have to find the balance. And if the robots are essentially going to go through and become the new groomers for children, like the fuck, man. Like, but that's how it's going to get manipulated, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and maybe they're not trying to fuck your kids, but what they are trying to do is trying to fuck them out of their money,
Right.
and they're trying to turn them into a dependency cycle that makes it easier for them to be exploited. So, I mean, this is this is a huge problem. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be looked at. Somebody should actually be saying, "What? Oh, but what about the children?" But they're too busy worried about fucking drag queen story hour to not realize that the robots are masquerading as people and emotional connectivity. That's the real risk. That's the real thing you need to be worried about and concerned about. But these parents are going to go, oh, no, it's just fine that they do these kinds of things. They're the parents that don't actually give a fuck about their kids. They give a fuck about the presence and the belief that they actually do care about their kids. So, yeah.
Well, if any robots are listening to this, I for one welcome our new robot overlords. So thank you very much for your support.
Yeah. I mean, we're called brobots for a reason.
All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of security, Google is rolling out a brand new Android security feature designed to instantly spot when a phone call from a loved one is actually an AI deepfake. Driven by a massive global surge in sophisticated voice cloning scams, this new tech uses a silent encrypted background handshake to verify the caller's actual physical device. If a scammer attempts to spoof the number and mimic family members' voices, the phone will flag the missing signal and warn you to hang up immediately. It's a massive tech milestone, but it proves that the threat of hearing a synthesized version of your own child in distress no longer is science fiction. This is something we've been seeing more and more. This happened to family members of mine where they got the call from the person who is, I've been kidnapped, I need money wired to here to be
Yep.
released, and it's a total scam that more and more people are falling for.
Yeah. Which makes sense, right? And the really scary part is that they're doing it sometimes over FaceTime. So
Yeah.
it's not just that it's audio; it's that they're
Yeah.
faking the video, and they're basically creating avatars of folks and making it easier for them to try to create proof of life and these other pieces. And when your nervous system is on high alert, going, oh my God, my loved one is under threat and danger, you're not going through and saying, hey, I don't remember them having 6 fingers.
Right,
Like,
right.
your brain's not clicking and including that way. So it's good that there's tools that go out there and do this and provide this level of protection. It's bad that as a society, we're so fucked up that we're going to use this to exploit people. And right now, it's humans exploiting us this way. Eventually, it will be machines.
Yeah, the same ones that have been talking to you since you were a little kid playing with your stuffed animal. And
Exactly.
all
Yeah,
right.
it's going to
Well,
be your own. It's going to be your own Teddy Ruxpin calling you, of course. Help! Help! I've been kidnapped. I need help, please. Jeremy, help me. I have been taken by Mattel. Like, it's going to be that kind of shit. And you're going to be like, oh my God, Teddy Ruxpin, I need you.
Shut up, take my money.
Exactly.
Just give me Teddy back. Well, along these same lines, we're rapidly moving past basic AI chatbots and entering the surreal era of the autonomous digital twin. Prominent tech analysts are warning that these agentic AI proxies will soon be capable of managing up to 90% of your digital life, mimicking your voice, text style, and decisions so perfectly that even close associates won't notice. But this rapid evolution is creating a massive legal vacuum, forcing us to ask who is accountable when your AI twin signs a contract without you. It raises a haunting question for the digital age. If your virtual clone can do your job, text your friends, and mimic your persona perfectly, what exactly is left for you to do?
Yep. That's exactly the big question. If we are making replicas of ourselves that make our functional utilization in the world of meat space obsolete, why do we need to keep taking up oxygen and spitting out carbon dioxide? Because effectively, that's what you are in the ecosystem. You are something that eats things, turns them into shit, and exhaust. And if something can go through and get the effective benefit of what you do for the betterment of society, whatever we're going to call society now with robots, yeah, dude, you don't fucking matter. I mean, even if you are traveling at twice the speed of light, you ain't even energy then. Like, you're kind of useless. I mean,
yeah, it's hard enough to come up with a purpose in the current state of the world sometimes. Like, I can't imagine once we hand over the keys, and the legal question too of like, if I do have my robot sign all of my contracts, sign my mortgage paperwork, did I authorize that? Is that really me? Am I responsible for all of these things that my robots will be signing? It's the auto pen that we've all been waiting for to run our own lives.
And I guarantee you, the lawyers, you will be responsible. You as the individual will be responsible. The companies that make these AI twins will have indemnification as part of the end user license agreement, because nobody's going to sign up as a corporation to let people sue people for unlimited damages when something like this fucks up and ruins their lives. When somebody signs away their house, all these damn mortgage fraud ads that we all hear all the time, where it's like, you got to go and protect your mortgage. You got to protect the back end of the title on your house. You need title insurance. Yeah, dude, like every fucking scam that's available that people do right now when they're robots figure out, I can do that. It's not going to be like held back. It's going to happen at scale on lots of things simultaneously. And this shit's fucking terrifying.
Well, we see
because people don't read contracts now.
No. When's the last time you actually read that Apple update and just clicked acknowledge? Like, nobody's reading anything.
Honestly, if my avatar was smart, it would read it and it would be like, bruh.
Bullshit,
like,
yeah.
You shouldn't sign this. This is a bad idea. Like, maybe we'll actually make us smarter. Maybe, maybe that's a new product idea. How about an AI twin that actually looks out for you? Right. An AI twin that is like, I need to be the mature version of you. Not the shitty, irresponsible, burnt out version of you that's like, fuck it, just give me the thing. Give me my Teddy Ruxpin. Like, maybe that's the real new trick to look at.
But there's no money in that for the big companies.
But there could be money in it for those of us that make that app that do that, and then the big companies can bribe us to put holes in things. I'm just saying.
That's how the economy works. Now I get it. Now I get it.
Yes, the ever-expanding moral gray areas.
The other thing that I found interesting about this is the idea that we see more and more Hollywood actors being replicated. I think there's a new Val Kilmer movie that's coming out where they totally mimicked him. What about you doing your job long after you've died and you're still making money for the company? Are you still earning a paycheck? Like, what role do you play in your death once the avatar of you has been so perfectly cloned and continues to be successful for whatever company it works for?
Yeah, can my family license out my likeness and my
Right,
productivity?
right.
No. No, they won't let that happen. No, nobody's going to let that occur. I mean,
No.
no. The companies aren't going to do that. They're going to let people buy those things in that kind of way. They're just not. I mean, there's a really great quote where, I can't remember the quote exactly, but essentially what happened was one of the AI founders came out and they said, AI is democratizing these things and bringing the intelligence to these different pieces as we're bringing up something new, blah, 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 to eventually get humanity to the point where they don't have to work anymore. And somebody replied with something effectively saying, no, you guys are just stealing all the intellectual property and not paying anybody for it in advance, and then just going through and using it for your own productive means and taking all the IP and creativity from the world and not sharing the profits. And it's like, oh, so I can look at these things from two different angles. One angle is that this is great and I should adopt it because this is going to make it so I don't have to work. The other angle is, hey, you shouldn't adopt this because they're going to make it so you have no value. And that's the question that you need to, or that's the question you need to ask yourself whenever you engage in any of these activities, which, by the way, you won't. So may I recommend the BroBots AI twin that will go through and do this intelligent work for you automatically.
For just $99 a month, your robot.
Yes, to make sure that you don't punch yourself in the dick repeatedly when you're signing all these fucking EULAs that you shouldn't be signing today, anyways.
Oh, get to work on that. This is a $1 million idea. I love it.
I'll see if I can code this up with some vibe coding in Claude to see if I can make this thing actually happen. I've a sneaking suspicion it will not let me do it.
that may be true. Following now, one of our most popular episodes we've ever done was on how Scooby-Doo would answer the question of what it means to be a real man. Well, while hyper-aggressive influencers continue to dominate the online algorithm with rigid, loud caricatures of masculinity, a fascinating shift is happening in real-world classrooms. New academic data tracking adolescent boys participating in Tomorrow Man workshops reveals a massive, quiet rebellion against the traditional man box stereotypes. When given a safe, unscripted space to speak honestly, young men are overwhelmingly rejecting the pressure to never show weakness or vulnerability. Instead, they are actively craving deeper friendships, emotional honesty, and the practical tools to genuinely connect with their mates. They're probably learning it from Teddy Ruxpin, if I'm being honest. I mean, that guy, he knows a thing or two.
It could
How many
be,
times can we reference Teddy Ruxpin in this episode, by the way?
Teddy Ruxpin. It's like he's going to be like Candyman, like you say the name 3 times and he's coming.
Right. This episode brought to you by Teddy Ruxpin.
Exactly. Actually, please don't sue us, Hasbro.
Please don't.
So here's kind of where my take comes at this. So I've got a 25-year-old or I should say I have a 21-year-old and a soon-to-be 25-year-old. And both of them have long-term boyfriends. My youngest and her boyfriend live with us. And my oldest and her now fiance have their own place. I've known these boys for long periods of time. And I have learned so much from watching how they interact and behave with people because they are more empathetic. They do seem to care more. They do seem to want actual real connection. They're okay with the uncomfortableness of challenging conversations. They don't just say everything's okay. They don't swallow their feelings or their opinions, and they're young and they will say how they actually feel, not just I'm fine. And it's not just that it's inspirational, it's that it's a map for us Gen Xers who were fucking raised by television as feral children and latchkey kids set out in the wild. And always had to convince ourselves that we were fine, even though we were asked and forced to grow up at a much younger age than we should have been. And now these boys are watching the tragic way in which other men are allowing themselves to be emotionally manipulated and controlled, to be driven towards this idea of alpha maleness and the horribleness that's behind it because of one thing. Chicks don't like guys who act like dicks. As much as we might think that that's not true because of like weird bullshit examples, women have become smarter over the course, not smarter, women have become better informed over the course of the last 20 years that they have autonomy, that they have rights, that their opinions matter, and they don't need to keep shrinking themselves for men.
Mm-hmm.
And men push back against that in shitty ways, and those women reject those men. So I think young boys see that and they go, oh, I shouldn't be that because I like ladies and I feel like I would like to spend time with them. I should try to figure out how to spend time with them in a way that makes us feel like equals and doesn't let me diminish their feelings and make them feel like shit. That is a good, healthy process to go through. And that is an evolution of men. The de-evolution that we're watching people go through right now online with the Andrew Tate and the shitty influencers and people like that, that's not a de-evolution. That's just an embracing of old cultural norms and cultural functional stereotypes said at a loud, repeated pace. And those people are emotionally fucked up, damaged, and broken in all kinds of different ways, and they're passing that on to younger generations. But I will say, I still see some shitty kids being extreme and doing, terrible alpha male bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a front. Like, they're all just covering up for their own insecurities and their own broken fucking shit because they don't know how to actually be emotionally mature and emotionally grown up. So this is not new. It's just in such a sphere that we're seeing it a lot more often, and the kids see it a lot younger now. And they're like, oh yeah, I don't want to be that. So they reject it. But you still got 25, 30% that's like hugging this thing, trying to embrace it because they didn't have good emotional constructs and ways to interact with these pieces. And this is an easy outlet. And it's an easy outlet because our generation grew up in that mode. So we've seen it be an easy outlet and an easy way to get through those pieces because the emotional work is actually hard. And boys are starting off young enough now where they're like, well, I'm just going to start doing this work right now as part of my regular interactions because I want to have these kinds of relationships with people. And it's fucking great. I mean, it really is.
So why are the Andrew Tates and the Joe Rogans and that, part of the manosphere, like, why do they continue to thrive if
because it's profitable?
But why is there not a market shift to the emotionally sensitive, vulnerable male perspective, the one that you're seeing with these young men in your life? Why is that not where the market is going? Or is it just that we're still in the like dying days of this ancient way of seeing things, that it will just take time to shift to the new way?
Well, remember content. Content is produced because it's meant to attract certain audience types. And things that outrage people and get them fired up attract more eyeballs. So things that talk about emotional stability and getting in touch with your feelings and actually trying to become a better whole person doesn't create a lot of outrage. And it doesn't create a lot of polarization. So it doesn't get a lot of attention because the algorithm doesn't pick it up and go, oh, we need more of this to try to push these pieces forward. So I'd venture to say that economically, I mean, there's plenty of programming like that, like Speech Prof on Facebook. That dude's great. Like, he's fantastic. But the reason why Speech Prof isn't, a 100 millionaire and Joe Rogan is, I think, is because Joe Rogan talks about controversial topics and pushes things out there and makes people both comfortable and uncomfortable at the same time, and it generates controversy. And controversy generates interest, and it feeds the algorithm, and it makes more advertising dollars.
So then there's also more people hate watching as much as there are
Absolutely.
people that love watching it and agree with it.
I bet there's not as many people hate watching, but I bet there's enough. And really, if you're talking about something, when you talk, you know this, you did media for a long time. Like, if I capture 1% of the audience, that's fucking a ton of people. 1% of the audience in the US is over 3 million people. Over 3 million people, if I'm going to make $9 a year off of them from an advertising perspective, that's $27 million a year just from the advertising portion. Then product placement, all this other pieces layered in. You don't have to appeal to a broad audience. You just have to appeal to enough to make it profitable. And that's what they're doing.
It just drives me crazy as somebody who tried for a long time to reach an audience that wanted that wants to hear men being open, vulnerable, emotional, sharing their perspective on the world, and to see how hard it is to get eyeballs on that, for knowing that there are people that want to consume that want to be around it, want to participate in that conversation. But but I think it's just like the news. I worked in the news for a long time, and there's a reason you don't have the happy news. You don't get the same emotional reaction as you do to the fear of
Yeah, if it
all of the
bleeds, it
bad things in the
leads.
world. Yeah, so
Right.
it's the same thing, but it's just it's terribly frustrating as somebody who's been trying to be a part of that conversation for so long, to still just be like, why do the bad guys keep winning? I get it, but I don't get it, right?
But it's really simple because the goal of our society is not to have a healthy society. The goal of our society is to have a healthy economy. And as long as everything revolves around the economic bias and economic prosperity, we're going to continue to see this pattern. And I mean, the reason why AI exists in the format that it does and why it is so big is because it's economically favorable for a few people that control the purse strings to be able to go at it in this direction. The same is said for media. Like, you're seeing massive compression inside the media space for the streaming providers here in the US. I mean, Paramount has bought up so many studios, and they're trying to buy Warner Brothers right now. So I mean, you're seeing these things congeal and compress, and that's going to change the narrative for how people consume and understand these things. That has been going on for a very, very long time with newspapers and news stations. Like Sinclair, like, bought up a bunch of like local stations, and like the news coverage became really shitty all of a sudden. And we've had this conversation dozens of times. But the idea that what we're doing is in the public good and interest does not tend to make it into the conversation when you're talking about media, because there's a cost to produce it, there's a cost to deliver it, and then there's expected revenue that people want coming inbound from it. And again, if it's not sensational enough, it doesn't draw people's attentions because they can turn around and watch fiction, or they can watch something else out there that actually gives them the dopamine response that they're actually looking for. I mean,
And
at
news
the
is a
end of
great
the day,
example of that.
yeah,
Like
at the end of the day,
news is a great example because you can get the same
yep,
information from anywhere, but who's going
yes,
to do it with the spin that is going to feed your
that
ego,
appeals
feed you
to
that
me.
dopamine that appeals exactly to you?
Yes, because we're fucking drug addicts. As much as
Yeah.
we don't want to admit it, like, we are drug addicts. We are addicted to dopamine,
Yep.
and we want it
Yeah.
because it makes us feel better to get through life, so
For
that we don't
5
have to
seconds
actually
until the next
deal.
one.
Exactly. Yes, like, it's just crack, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on the topic of manhood, you've made the analogy a number of times of, do you know how to make a fire without a match? Well, it turns out now your phone can do it. Tired of your
Yeah.
phone just burning through your battery life? A new rugged smartphone called the Alcatel WP63, that's a name that's going to stick, by the way, is making headlines because it can literally start a campfire. The manufacturers have built an electrical heating coil behind a small trapdoor on the top of the device, powered by a massive 20,000 milliamp hour battery. It gives the whole new meaning to the phone being the hottest new gadget on the market. Just try not to accidentally ignite a fire in your front pocket. So thank God, because if not for this thing, I don't know that I could ever start a fire again.
So I already can't bring a lighter on the plane.
How do you bring
Am I
your
not
phone?
going to be able to bring my lighter phone on the plane now?
That's an excellent point.
It's a good question. Yeah. But also, like, do we fucking need this? Like, it's not like lighters are hard to
Hey,
find.
let's not be realistic about these things.
Right. But if I'm going camping,
Uh-huh.
I should be leaving my phone at home.
Dude, I can't start a fire. I can't get a signal out here.
Right, exactly. Exactly. I it better switch to satellite mode so I can get the fucking phone lighter to charge up. No, I mean, what's it cost right now for a regular electric lighter? A regular electrical lighter that goes through and creates an actual electrical discharge between two different points and creates a little sparking between here. Like, you can buy those. It's basically a stun gun, or they call them pain pens, but they've turned them into lighters, and you can go out and you can buy one of these things for like $4. So instead of spending a bunch of money on a phone that does this shit, just go buy a bunch of fucking lighters and keep them all over your car, because it's gonna be more important to be able to have fire when the AI takes over and destroys it than it is connectivity. Be prepared. You know what else works? Fucking matches. You know what might even be smarter than that? Learn how to take rocks and bang them together to make a spark. Learn how to identify flint. Learn how to take sticks and do this with each other so you can get them hot to create friction. Like, early man figured out how to do this a long time ago without needing advanced electronics to make this happen.
That sounds hard, though.
Oh, God damn it. God damn it. I hate this world.
All right, well, let me try to cheer you up a little bit with the throne. If you thought tech companies already knew too much about you, wait until you hear about the latest trend in smart home health. A new device called the Throne clips onto the side of your toilet, utilizing high-resolution cameras and artificial intelligence to actively grade your bathroom habits. The company promises it establishes an automated health baseline to monitor your hydration and digestive wellness. Let's just hope that the data is end-to-end encrypted before it ends up on the wrong side of the internet. So they're taking pictures of your poop.
They're definitely going to leak, and they're not taking pictures of your poop. It's a toilet camera. So everything that you do on that toilet will be recorded. And my guess is that it's not just a toilet camera, it's a toilet camera that can see in the dark. Because when your ass gets on that seat, it is cutting out all the light. So there will be no hiding. And if you go to that bathroom to do things other than go to the bathroom, it will record that. So, oh, you drank too much? Blah. Oh, I see that. You go to the bathroom to take care of your other needs? It's gonna see that. This is not a thing we need.
No, again, do we need this?
It it probably there probably needs to be like a little bolt-on module where it's like, I'm not feeling so good these days. Let me do some analysis and drop it in and like make it go. But fuck, man, like the sphincter cam is not a great idea. Like, and somebody had better call this a butt light, and they better say, hand me a butt light, just like you would a Bud Light, because it's got to play in that way. There's like 1,000 hemorrhoid jokes that are in here. Like, there's a whole bunch of preparation H jokes. Comedically, I love this idea. Practically, I'm like, I don't know if I need this, but I'm also 51 years old, and if it can prevent me from having to have a colonoscopy every 3 years, I might do it.
Yeah, but just imagine what they can do with OnlyFans when they have all this footage from everybody's throne cameras. I mean, the OnlyFans is just going to blow up.
Dude, there's going to be an entire section that's just called corn, or like cornography. It's like, I want to look at cornography, poop and people's corn. It's going to be a whole like subcategory. And you know what? It's going to appeal to 1% of the population, so it's going to make at least $27 million a year.
I'm just real quick. I'm going to go register cornography.com on my website here.
Oh,
Jesus.
yes.
All right. Well, clearly AI has run amok and it's gone too far. And even Anthropic is saying, hey, maybe we should hit the pause button.
Yeah. Well, they're not saying maybe we should hit the pause button. What they're saying is we should definitely hit the pause button, but we're not going to hit the pause button unless everyone else agrees to hit the pause button. And nobody's agreeing to hit the pause button, so we're not going to hit the pause button. So, in other words, we know what we're doing. We know what we're about to drive this thing off the cliff, and we know that we should stop, but our leg is stuck in the fully extended position, and our foot, we have duct tape our foot to the gas pedal.
we're Kevin Bacon and Footloose on the tractor.
Yes, we're stuck. The shoelace won't come off.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. We are about to run head first into each other, and we're all going to die. And it's crazy because Mythos is a really good example from Anthropic, where they're like, we've made something that's too powerful and we don't know what to do, but we've given it to some people that are in the security space to let them test it. And we basically put a timer on this thing because we think everyone's going to want to test this anyways. And you don't think that shit's leaking out? You don't think people are like taking the Mythos pieces and like giving people certain kinds of access? Come on, dude. Like, you've opened up Pandora's box. Everyone's going to know. So are you going to build better technology to go through and tamp these things down? Like, I work for a technology company. I've got a couple little startups, and fuck yeah, we're going after this place to go look at it and say, what can we do to make these things better? Can we actually lock these things down? Is there a way to contain these pieces? And the statement we get every single time is, we're going to figure out how to fix this, and then the next one's going to come out, and we're going to figure out how to fix this, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And the crazy part is the defenders only have to be wrong once for the attackers to win. The attackers don't have to be right all the time. They just have to get lucky. And the defenders will be unlucky one time. And that's just the reality. People are going to get hacked. They're going to get breached. Things are going to get broken along the way. And the only real way that you do that is you have to pull all of the plugs. And we're not willing to pull all the plugs.
No. But we'll have beautiful pictures of our buttholes on the way down.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
So
it makes you feel very reassured. And yeah. I'll remember that when I'm working in the silicon mine, helping my robot overlords replace GPUs and CPUs as necessary. Where they're like, yeah, it's cheaper to have this meat robot go into it than an actual metal robot. Come on, meat robot, get to work. Honestly, they're going to turn us into that. I mean, I would turn us into drones, and I'd give us pretty pictures to look at, and I would literally matrix us into things and then convince us as subroutines to go through and do menial tasks that I think need to be done.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's smart. It's probably more humane than we even are to ourselves. If I look at it, like, okay. Maybe AI will figure
as long
it out
as long as I'm plugged into some artificial reality where it's all a fun game where I'm getting a constant feed of dopamine, then I'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about that, our fuel to the robots is dopamine. That's the new energy crisis, terrifying. I guess. Yeah, exactly.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, I got to go take a picture of my butthole, so we're going to go. But thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this, please share it with somebody. You can do that with the links at our website, brobots.me, and that's where you can find a new episode from us next Monday morning. Thanks so much.
Or in about 2 weeks, you'll be able to find us at cornography.com as well. So don't forget about that.
Can we get Teddy Ruxpin as a mascot? That would be amazing.
Ooh, as our spokesperson. So many ideas.
So many ideas.
So many
ideas.
All right,
we'll see you Monday.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.